Hi, this is Peter Konechny with medievalist.net, and I am here at the Friendship in Premodern Europe conference, and I'm joined by Professor Ivana Elbl, I hope I got that right, Elba, of Trent University. And thank you so much. And I just heard a great paper from you, and I was just could you. And this is the very first time that I ever heard about a suicide pact from medieval Europe.
I might have misled my audience. It was a death pact.
A death pact, yeah.
There's a slight difference because suicide was unpardonable. It would have carried the eternal sentence of perpetual damnation. What Infante Dom Pedro of Portugal and his close friend Alvaro Vaz de Almada did, they formed a death pact.
Yeah. Could you tell us about the two people that are involved here? They're from both 15th century Portugal. Could you tell us a bit about both of them?
Yes. Infante Dom Pedro was the third son of the founder of the Aves dynasty. Okay? And for a long time, the second to the throne after the death of his eldest brother. Okay? And eventually, after the death of yet another brother, of the king Duarte I, became a regent of Portugal and governed it on behalf of his nephew, King Afonso V, for some 10 hotly contested years. Dom Pedro is sometimes referred to as the philosopher prince. Extremely highly educated and well-traveled. He wrote extensively on government and on the philosophy of social relations, which unfortunately he was never able to put into practice in the difficult conditions of mid-15th century Portugal. Dom Álvaro Vaz de Almada was his close friend over his entire lifespan, and Dom Álvaro was chiefly distinguished as an iconic chivalric figure, okay, celebrated both in Portugal and abroad for his prowess.
He was a member of the Order of Garter.
Indeed, and this was quite a distinction because Dom Álvaro was non-royal and was among the few non-royal foreigners ever elected to the Order of Garter.
And so how did they wind up to form this pact with each other?
At the end of his term as regent, Dom Pedro found himself in an extremely difficult personal and political situation and is subject to a vicious smear campaign that eventually led the king to expel him from the royal court and isolate him in the seat of his dukedom, Coimbra. Dom Álvaro, after failing to defend his friend's reputation image, left the royal court and joined him in Coimbra, okay, to support him in this crisis. As things went bad from worse, okay, Dom Pedro asked Dom Álvaro, okay, to join him in death, as he did in life, and within a month, both of them passed away in the Battle of Alfarrabéira.
Yeah, you were telling us that Don Pedro, he dies early on in the battle.
Yes.
But Alvaro, he's such a good fighter. He's not going to get killed. So what happens with him?
Just puts him he actually gets exhausted. According to the chronicle, he gets so exhausted that he just drops on the ground and allows himself to be hacked to death.
Well, it's a really good example, I guess, of friendship and what that kind of means in this conference. So
it epitomizes one aspect of the conference, which has to do with true friendship. And what's more true than friendship to the death, okay? As opposed to friendship of convenience, in terms of forming social networks and socializing, whether for entertainment or for various sorts of advantages. Already Cicero distinguished between true friendship, which is marked by an emotional bond, unselfish companionship, and loyalty, as opposed to friendship of convenience, patronage and clientship, which basically seeks advantages and promotion of each actor. In this particular case, this is we have an example, documentable example of a true friendship in the Ciceronian terms.
Well, it was a really fascinating paper. Could you just tell us a bit more about the other kind of research you do as a medieval historian?
I'm a historian of 15th century Portugal, obviously. I've spent a very long time trying to come to grips with Petro's brother, Henry the Navigator, and with various aspects of the Portuguese overseas expansion and 15th century value system, and lately the role of emotions in 15th and early 16th century history of Portugal and the overseas expansion. My long-term battle with Henry the Navigator is coming to a close.
Oh, okay.
The manuscript is just about there.
Oh, okay. That Henry the Navigator is a really popular figure, and I think a lot of people would love to read about that.
There are biographies of Henry the Navigator. I'm doing it a little bit differently. I'm trying to represent him not as a cultural hero, but as a human being, deeply embedded in the social relations of his time. And the work has met with some positive response and a great deal of pressure to get done with it.
Oh.
The problem with biography, of course, is being able to relate to the subject. And this was actually quite difficult for me in the early years because of Dom Enrique's religious militancy and his somewhat straightforward ambition defined very pronouncedly along uncompromising orthodox terms. I have to confess I never harbored any ambition to kill anybody because of their religion. But eventually Henry and I came to terms when we discovered a common ground, which is best defined in terms of Maslowian personality analysis.
Oh, okay. That's going to be fascinating, and I guess we're looking forward to that. And thank you so much for talking with us here today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.